In the headlines, Flow launches its 5G network. The Ministry of Education addressing concerns at Charles F Broome Primary. The youth take up the reparations debate. And in sports, 2 more teams advance to the Prime Minister's Cup playoffs.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Tisha Hines with the details to tonight's news. Barbados now has the 5th generation of mobile network technology. Liberty Caribbean, with its brands Flow and Liberty Business, today announced the historic introduction of its 5G mobile network, becoming the first telecoms provider to usher in the next generation of mobile connectivity on the island. Our Anesta Henry was at the launch at Flow's Customer Experience Center at Windsor Lodge and tells us just what the development means for customers and the island.
With much pomp and flair, Flow Barbados launched Flow 5G Plus in Barbados, marking a first for the island. Vice President and the General Manager, Flow Barbados, Desron Baino, says the introduction of 5G will bolster the capabilities of Flow's existing 4G long-term evolution network. The development will also improve daily mobile experiences with faster download speeds, smoother video calls, uninterrupted streaming, instant app responses, buffer-free video, and far more dependable connections in crowded venues.
This initial rollout of 5G Plus connects 22 high-impact sites across the island, and we have deliberately planned the phased rollout to prioritize locations where the technology will deliver immediate impact and benefits. We also have a clear objective, which was to reach at least 50% population coverage by year end, and to press forward with the work necessary to deliver full island coverage by the end of 2026. Those targets are ambitious, but ambition is appropriate for an island that has always punched above its weight.
Flow has touted the launch of its 5G Plus network as being about people. The objective is for more Barbadians to be connected, included, and empowered. Whether it's a student accessing immersive learning tools, an entrepreneur using real-time analytics to grow their business, or a family enjoying high-definition streaming without interruption, the benefits are expected to be felt in everyday lives across the country. Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science, and Technology, Senator Jonathan Reed, says government had been pushing Flow to move in this direction. He says it's not just for Barbados to boast about having 5G, but for the island to step up its digital development efforts.
So while I'm very excited that a large corporate entity is moving the needle and moving things forward, my words today are really around challenging maybe smaller players, younger people, to utilize this technology just not for the purpose of communications or WhatsApp or Facebook or IG or anything that's fun and cool to do, but really how can we use this as a platform to build a new on top of? How can we challenge small businesses to think about building IoT sensors to solve the traffic problem that we all hate?
And Minister Reed says from this moment onwards, Barbados needs to focus on digital growth, leaving no one behind.
But none of us enjoy waiting in bank lines for 2-3 hours. None of us wait filling out forms at a hospital or polyclinic over and over again. All of these things can be made smoother, faster, and we can enjoy our lives better on this island by having some tools available to us that are now readily available.
Flow says this multi-million-dollar investment will not hit customers' pockets. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Thanks, Anesta. Classes will resume at the Charles F Broome Memorial School tomorrow after teachers called in sick on Monday and were locked in a meeting with Education Ministry officials today. Deputy Chief Education Officer Schools, Julia Beckles, says chief among the teachers' concerns is the congestion that occurs outside the Government Hill St. Michael-based institution on mornings when they're trying to enter their workplace, as well as on evenings when they're leaving. Ms. Beckles says the teachers are complaining that some motorists are parking in the area for extended periods, creating hostile environment and even threatening teachers. She says the Ministry has also consulted with the Ministry of Transport and Works and the Barbados Police Service to see what can be done in the short and long term to manage the situation.
They should not have to go through, they should not have to experience any hostility in getting in and out of their work environment. So we are really appealing for cooperation so that they can have easy access in and out as they go to work to teach the nation's children.
Meanwhile, parents had to rush to collect their children from the school yesterday afternoon after teachers reported sick, forcing its early closure. The action follows an alleged altercation between a teacher and a parent last Friday, a matter which remains under investigation. First Vice President of the Barbados Union of Teachers, Julian Pierre, says though no solution has been reached, teachers are satisfied that the ministry sees the need to treat to the matter with urgency.
We're all human beings. We're just asking for a little bit of cooperation, a little bit of respect for each other as they maneuver in that area until something has been decided on. In that meantime, we don't want the tempers to be flaring, the exchange of words, the expletives as were described in the meeting today, and I don't think it should have to come to that just for persons to wait to pick up the children and wards, and obviously for members of staff to be able to get in and out of their place of work.
Now for some worrying news. A growing trend is emerging among adolescent girls, an increased interest in alcohol. That's according to youth and adolescent specialist and psychotherapist Nicolette Williams. She says a team from rehab facility Marina House has been going into schools to educate young girls on the dangers of substance abuse. Ms. Williams was speaking as a guest on TV8's Morning Barbados.
We do have a lot of young girls that are very interested in alcoholism. And what we've recognized is that women versus men, they have a high impact to the use of alcoholism as compared to men. So when women use alcohol, because women have less body fat, more body fat than men, that then impacts the body more than the male.
The Venezuelan embassy in Barbados has condemned what it calls ongoing aggression by the United States, saying such actions threaten peace and stability across the Caribbean. Speaking during a media briefing at the Venezuelan Institute, Charge d'Affaires at the Embassy of Venezuela today, Martha Gabriela Ortega Pereza, said her government continues to rely on diplomacy and cooperation to resolve disputes and rejected U.S. claims of drug trafficking through Venezuela.
Venezuela is not a country in any inform of the United Nations and in any inform about drug trafficking. Venezuela is an important country. As we explained, we have through Venezuela only 5% of the drug that is producing in Colombia, for example, come through Venezuela, only 5%. The rest of the drug is coming by the Pacific. We cannot understand why United States insists that the drug is coming since the Caribbean, since Venezuela.
Also speaking, David Denny, General Secretary for the Friends of Venezuela Solidarity Committee, made a plea for support for Venezuela, describing the presence of U.S. military in the region as a danger.
I want to condemn this action. I want to call on all progressive forces, Pan-Africanists, socialists, and even religious persons to condemn this military force in our region and to demand that the United States of America remove this military force from our region from threatening the lives of our Caribbean people.
Well, still to come, students urged to take up the reparations cause. Attorney at Law Sally Ann King is making it clear that under the Family Law Act, the qualifications for paternity leave are the same as those for maternity leave. She was speaking at the Barbados Employers Confederation's Dialogue over Breakfast session at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center. King explained that the provision isn't just about time off, it's about giving fathers the opportunity to bond with their newborns, a step toward modernizing how parental roles in the workplace are viewed. Trevor Thorpe was at the event and he files this report.
The attorney at law said that contained in the Paternity Act is the requirement that males must be employed continuously for 12 months with the same employer prior to submitting their request for paternity leave. Furthermore, the request for paternity leave must be submitted at least 4 weeks before the date of the intended leave. The bill was passed in the lower house on August 12th and is now on its way to the Senate.
The bill has defined family leave as leave granted under the bill to facilitate the birth and bonding with a child during the period immediately following the birth of the child. So this time, this leave is not vacation. It is time to bond. So fathers, you are expected to bond and assist.
She also informed the breakfast audience that the proposed law includes penalties for breaches.
Any employer who contravenes or fails to comply with any of the provisions of the bill would be guilty of an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $50,000 or 24 months in prison or both. So employers, remember, the legislation gives rights, and if there are any breaches, this would be the consequence. You pay $50,000 or you spend 24 months in prison or both.
Additionally, any male who provides false information to his employer to secure paternity leave could face fines and/or imprisonment.
An employee who knowingly, and the important part in this is knowingly, who knowingly gives false information pursuant to the application or grant of maternity or paternity leave is liable on summary conviction and will pay a fine of $10,000 or imprisonment for 24 months or both.
President of the Barbados Employers Confederation, Gail Ann King, said the private sector has been proactive with the Family Leave Act and through collective bargaining and internal policies have adopted it.
For the first time, fathers are legally entitled to 3 weeks of leave. The extension of maternity leave, the statutory period is increased from 12 to 14 weeks for a single birth and to 17 weeks for multiple births. The removal of the 3 confinement limit, the previous restriction on an employee receiving paid maternity leave on only 3 occasions with the same employer has been removed, as well as a clear eligibility requirement. Both male and female employees must have at least 12 months of continuous service to qualify for these benefits.
The dialogue over breakfast attracted a diverse group of people from business and with legal backgrounds. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Students are being urged to connect with their history, not just as a school subject, but as a foundation for understanding today's society. That call came during the reparations school lecture competition hosted by the National Library Service at the Frank Cullimore Hall. As we hear in this report, the event put the spotlight on the lasting legacy of slavery, with officials stressing that its scars are still evident in modern social and economic inequalities.
The Frank Cullimore Hall became a classroom of reflection and empowerment as students gathered for the reparations school lecture competition, an initiative of the National Library Service. Director of the service, Jennifer Yard, told the audience that the scars of slavery remain deeply embedded in Caribbean society. She says the competition offers young people a space to express themselves while learning that education goes beyond books. It's also about knowing their history.
Across the Caribbean and the world, descendants of enslaved people continue to call for justice and fairness through reparations. At the National Library Service, we believe it is important for young people like you to explore this topic, to understand what reparations are, why they matter, and why so many people continue to seek justice. By facing our history honestly, we can better understand the world we live in and the changes we still need to make. Today's competition is more than just winning. It's about learning, sharing ideas, and finding your voice. This is a space to reflect and be empowered, a chance to think deeply about how history affects our present and how we can build a fairer future for everyone.
Also addressing the audience was historian and Member of Parliament Trevor Prescott, who serves as Special Advisor to the Prime Minister and Special Envoy on Reparations and Economic Enfranchisement. He stressed that reparations must be understood within the wider context of slavery, a system he described as a crime against humanity.
As far as I understand this subject, reparation is a felonious crime against humanity. And the subject has been shifting into a more palatable and conversation, almost informal. The kind of militancy and the required adjectives to help describe the nature, the vicious nature of slavery is totally excluded now from the vocabulary and persons who are engaged in dialogue on this matter.
The event forms part of the National Library Service's continued efforts to promote education through awareness of this country's historical journey. The competition featured participants from the Combermere and Coleridge and Parry School, all using their voices to bring new perspectives to an old conversation. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
Now, beyond the speeches at that National Library Service hosted competition, as Deanza mentioned, students tackled big questions about history, justice, and identity. Again, Deanza takes a look at all the details.
It was a morning of passion and purpose as students from the Combermere School and Coleridge and Parry Secondary School presented their perspectives on reparations and Caribbean identity. Representing Combermere were Jamaria Davis, Nathan Smallgraves, and Omisha Springer, and Tyler Clark, while Janae Husbands and Tamara Boy St. Hill flew the flag for Coleridge and Parry. Jamaria brought his perspectives on reparations, a journey through development and historical corrections. He ended with a powerful quote.
To conclude, I would like to quote from Sir Hilary Beckles, Vice Chancellor and Chairman of Board of Trustees at the University of West Indies. We are not beggars at the table of development. We are partners demanding justice. Thank you for your time.
When duo Nathan Smallgraves and Omisha Springer took the stage, their message was that the time for reparations is now.
The Caribbean is not asking for a favor. It is demanding fairness. Not charity, but justice.
Until the debt of slavery is acknowledged and repaid, freedom remains incomplete.
Tyler Clark brought his case for reparations to the court.
Let us be the generation that helps it bend. Let us be the ones who finally close the books on this painful chapter, not with a plea, but with a settled account. Let justice be done. The debt is due. The case is closed. The only question that remains is whether you will stand on the right side of history.
Janae Husbands and Tamara Boy St. Hill, representing Coleridge and Parry Secondary School, spoke about the remaining scars of slavery.
Caribbean governments still suffer from heavy debt. This is because they inherited poverty and underdevelopment from slavery and colonialism. To fix these problems, they've had to borrow money, which traps them in endless debt.
Reparations are important for strengthening the cultural identity of Caribbean people whose heritage was deeply affected by slavery and colonization.
When the results were announced, Combermere's team, Nathan Small-Graves and Omisha Springer, emerged victorious.
I feel more than ecstatic in the fact that it came first. At first we were weary, but then we came with confidence, we came with courage, and we dominated the competition.
As someone who's pretty shy and not very confident, today made me realize that if I put my mind to it, I can do it, and so can you guys. So thank you.
The event forms part of the National Library Service's ongoing work to keep history alive and ensure that the next generation continues the conversation on reparations. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Well, the Prime Minister's Cup is really kicking off, and Damien Best is here to tell us more about it. Good evening to you, Damien.
Yeah, good evening to you, Tisha. Good evening to all viewers and listeners, definitely so. Well, Paradise and Kickstart Rush booked their tickets to the knockout stage of the Prime Minister's Cup when the semi-professional football tournament continued last night at the Grantley Adams Memorial School in St. Joseph. In the opening encounter, Kickstart thrashed for Pillars 5-2. Meantime, in the nightcap fixture, Paradise comfortably defeated Empire 2-0. CBC's Anne Margaret Boyce reports.
Tonight's highlights from the Prime Minister's Cup are coming to you with the compliments of Powerade, Pause is Power, and Dasani. Lick first, Dasani after.
We were in the East for a feast of the Prime Minister's Cup at the Grantley Adams Memorial School in St. Joseph. First of two matches, FM 4 Pillars in the red versus Kickstart Rush. Third minute of the match, Rashawn Payne decides to have a shot and the keeper makes a meal of it. 4 Pillars draw, first blood. But midway through the first half, Kickstart Rush were level. Jaden Goodrich with the header, 1-1 at the interval. 4 minutes after the restart, Kickstart Rush took the lead. No defender wants to see this one again. On the highlight reel, own goal, Kickstart Rush 2, 4 Pillars 1. This match took a few turns and this was another. A Sean Garcia brought down in the box by the keeper, Corey Bridgman, penalty. Garcia then stepped up and did the honors. Down the middle, all squared at 2-2. Kickstart Rush kept pressing forward, and there was no surprise when they went ahead again. Kamari Johnson's corner deceives the entire penalty area and flies into the back of the net. 3-2 now, the score. Made that 4-2. Daquan Addison eventually joined the goal-scoring party for Kickstart Rush. And Kickstart Rush got one more for good measure. Jamarco Johnson from the spot seals the deal. Kickstart Rush 5-2 winners over FM 4 Pillars. To the main event now. Paradise taking on Empire in the blue. 14 minutes in. Joe Moore Harris with a free kick into Sharon Hoyt. And this is innovation at the highest level. Paradise 1, Empire 0. Paradise should have doubled their advantage here. Keeper in no man's land, but there's a mix-up between Raymar Walters and Sharon Hoyt, who has an open goal. Folks, this is the unpardonable sin. How did that not go in? Score remains 1-0. Nevertheless, Hoyt would get his second, and this time there was no interruption, no luck pass into the onion bag, as Paradise defeated Empire 2-0. And Mark Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
The Business Report, brought to you by the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, a department of the Ministry of Youth and Community Empowerment, supporting young entrepreneurs from idea to enterprise.
And National Youth Week 2025 is being celebrated as a success. Acting manager of the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, Ryan Mosley, praised the event for showcasing a diverse array of initiatives developed and led by young people of Barbados. On tonight's Yes Business Report, we will hear from some of the officials who are involved. Our Trevor Thorpe has all the details.
The work of 20 entrepreneurs was showcased during the expo, part of the National Youth Week. The manager said this annual event provides valuable market opportunities for the YES cohorts. One of the core goals of the event was to open doors for the young entrepreneurs and create new avenues for growth and success.
Our main thrust for this year is to provide markets for our entrepreneurs to sell their products and services to the public, and we are extremely pleased that we were here all day to facilitate this activity. This activity forms part of National Youth Week 2025, where the talents and the skills of youth are on show in many different ways, and this evening is just the entrepreneurship side of the services within the Division of Youth, and we are proud to have exposed our entrepreneurs to the public.
The YES official said it's hoped the National Youth Week event, along with its associated activities, will inspire other young people to get involved in positive and constructive developmental activities.
This event proves that there are still a captive part of the youth that are doing positive things, and I trust that this activity would encourage those who may have negative thoughts to join one of the services or join one of the programs which are displayed here on to my right. The Youth Development Program, the Employability Program, and the Youth Development Program, and of course, YES, and do something positive with their lives.
Minister of Sport, Youth and Community Empowerment, Charles Griffith, described the initiative as a work in progress. He said a community business labs program has been launched in collaboration with the University of the West Indies to assist young people in making informed decisions about their future.
The business lab will give you an idea as to if entrepreneurship is the direction that you should travel. If you have made a decision that that is where you want to go, then I have a team in YES who are highly qualified to make your business grow.
And as National Youth Week came to an end, YES officials invited all young people to sign up for the Youth Development Program and the Employability Program. Those initiatives are designed to empower young individuals with the skills and opportunities needed for personal growth and career success. Trevor Thorpe for the YES Business Report.
A progressive step is being taken to shape a more inclusive world of work in Barbados. That's how President of the Barbados Employers Confederation, Gail King, sees the Family Leave Bill, which was passed in the House of Assembly in August. During a dialogue over breakfast on the legislation held at the Lloyd Erskine Sandford Center, she said the Employers Confederation has been active in the national conversation surrounding modernizing workplace policies. Ms. King spoke about the significance of the legislation.
The arrival of the Family Leave Act marks a pivotal moment, officially moving our discussions from theory to practice. This act repeals the long-standing employment of women, what we know as the Maternity Leave Act, and introduces a more comprehensive framework that acknowledges the shared responsibilities of parenthood in the 21st century.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Time now for the second half of sports. Damien's back.
Thanks so much, Tisha. Well, we're just 2 weeks away from Barbados' first professional boxing card in more than a decade. JGAP Promotions, working alongside the National Sports Council and other partners, are staging the Barbados Bash boxing card set for the Lloyd Erskine Sandford Center on October 25th. The event features 10 bouts and will see Barbadian Cobia Soldier Brady go up against Dexter the Kid Marquez of Guyana for one of 2 world titles at stake. The other co-main fight will feature Barbados-based Keithan Action King up against Edmund the Clow of Guyana.
Me and Keithan King, we fighting for the WBC Carver belt. It's a belt that been vacant. The boy in the Caribbean never fought for it for a while. So when Jeff, the promoter, was coming together, preparing the event and figuring out everybody who looking for the fighters to put on the card, some boy, Keithan King reached out to some people about these belts, and Jeff was interested in the belts. So we, he put the money sanctioning fees, because these things is not cheap, of course, but he put up the sanctioning fees, everything to put this, to put the belts online and that's how everything come together.
Well, Brady, who is based in Washington, D.C. in the United States, says he has been training hard and is ready to put on a show for all his Barbadian fans.
Hard, man. I know today is Columbus Day here in the U.S., so today's a holiday. So, training is intense. I've been sparring 10 to 12 rounds 3 times a week, doing my late night runs, eating right, staying focused, spending a lot of time with my family and kids, in my relaxing time, and just, staying disciplined, staying hungry, not doing nothing I'm supposed to do, and just focus on the plan, the game plan, and focus on the mission that we have to complete in Barbados. I think this fight here can bring eyes to Barbados, because eyes to Barbados on the professional scene. If you look around the Caribbean, there's not too much professional boxing going on. Everybody's calling me or calling the promoter trying to get up on this card, but we said no, this is the first event. Let's keep all Barbadians on board and let me get the Barbados community excited for come on, support the own, boxing in Barbados. So this event, hopefully it gives boxing a very big boost, and get a lot of support from the public, from the government to really invest in this event, and help a young man, help a couple people to focus on boxing and become a world champ, become great.
Well, Sea Breeze and Tropical Thunder were in the winner's circle when the Barbados Beach Soccer Championship continued recently. Tropical Thunder thrashed Southern Ray 5-2, while Sea Breeze comfortably defeated Wave Runners 2-0. And Margaret Boyce reports.
Time for some sun, sea and sand at Browns Beach. This first match featured Sea Breeze versus Wave Runners in the orange. And this was the opening goal of the contest. It really should have been saved, but nevertheless, Jabari Branford opens the scoring. Sea Breeze 1, Runners 0. That was the only goal in the first half, so let's go to the second, where Sea Breeze went 2 ahead. A powerful free kick is saved, but the rebound is volleyed into the onion bag by Branford. 2-0 the score. Branford then picked up a magnificent hat-trick. Jamal Chandler puts it on a plate with a knife and fork. Grace before meal. Sea Breeze 3-0 winners over Wave Runners. The second match was a battle between Tropical Thunder in the grey and black and Southern Ray. The Thunder wasted no time. Khalid Bowens makes it 1-0. Southern Ray found the equalizer shortly after. Nicholas Miller as calm as the morning tide, 1-1. But the Thunder clapped back with a marvelous strike. Akel Innes, 2-1 the score. Made that 3-1. Romario Savory with the assist, and Korean Skate provides the finish. Thunder strolling at 3-1. The Thunder kept rolling as well, and they were in total control. Jamar Grazette provides a bolt of a strike at the near post to beat the keeper. That's 4-1. Time was ticking, but the Thunder added one more. Bowens with a cannonball of a goal. Absolutely brilliant. Southern Ray got another goal for consolation thanks to Mario Sargent, but the final score read Tropical Thunder 5, Southern Ray 2. And more Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
24 teams are entered in this island's top semi-professional football tournament. CBC Sports takes a look at the squads vying for the Prime Minister's Cup. Brought to you by Powerade, Pause is Power, and Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Meet L&R United, a St. Philip-based team competing in the Prime Minister's Cup for the first time. The majority of the players are from a community called Ruby, and they have qualified for the semi-professional tournament after topping their zone in the second division. Head coach Carlo Perry spoke about the team's preparation.
A little short period in terms of preparation, but it's going okay for now. And some things we're working on basically is technique, ball mastery and certain tactical skills. We're going to bring some attractive football, a lot of ball handling, and try to keep a lot of possession of the ball.
Perry also discussed the team's chances in the competition.
Being the very, very lowest ranked team in the stage, in the group, I think it's going to be very difficult, but putting in the work, I think the boys may do a good job. For instance, we had 2 practice games, one against a second division club, and we won, and then we had one against a Premier League club just 2 days ago, which I will not mention, but that game drew. So I say the guys putting in the work. If they could draw against a Premier League team and you're in the second division, they believe some sort of progress is going on.
Defender Stefan Lord says he is backing the team to do well.
I believe we can get really far if we dig in and play good football. The team is a community side. It was started and based in Ruby, St. Philip. All the guys, well, majority of the guys here are, you can say, family, grew up together, play all the life together, and that's the community spirit we carry anyway.
Eleanor United are drawn in Group B with Britons Hill, Greens United, and Silver Sands. And more Goodrich Boys, CBC Sports.
And that's news. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Do enjoy the rest of your night.